The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, Season 21, Episode number 52. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. It's a Tuesday. It's a big picture day. That's what we normally do on Tuesdays. But today, we're still going to be talking about the game because we didn't get to half the stuff we had to talk about yesterday. I haven't talked to you before we went on the air, but I think we got some questions from the brain of Bryan Broaddus
Probably not,
today.
but we'll make some up as we go along.
Okay, well,
we never talk before we go on air.
We will see how this goes. It's one of the beauties of our show. I actually like, I know Jerry Madelon is out there watching right now. That's our guy who helps us make sure our content is the way it should be and we are what we should be as content creators. But I'm sure he's out there saying, why aren't y'all having pre-show meetings? But I actually think it's better when we don't. It kind of throws things at you guys you're not expecting, and we get better reactions. And I think the show feels a lot more fun.
It's because you think that we're talented. Like if we weren't capable, you wouldn't be.
I would not,
because you would not jeopardize your show for a bunch of let me figure this out.
Right, that's exactly right.
Boy,
that's exactly
I'll have
right.
some questions.
Salud, that's me on the go. Let's see how we make this work. But if it was the other way around, and let's say I was hosting and Derek didn't have a heads up, he would be freaking out. He'd be like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you ask me that before?
I like to be prepared. That's just my own personal thing. I just like to be prepared. But I actually don't. I prefer you guys not be prepared so that we can have more fun. It's more fun to throw things at you that you're not expecting. All right, we're going to start first, talk a little bit about Jerry Jones. He was on The Fan this morning with Sean and RJ and Bobby. I'm always going to give Bobby his love. And a couple things that he said that jumped out. One, Turpin and one offensive lineman could return this week. That's something we kind of are keeping an eye on. Really, over the next 2 weeks, Steven said yesterday they expect that they will get a lot of these guys back. So they just kind of have to weather the storm last week and this week. But beyond that, there was another statement that he made I thought was really interesting, or at least creates an opportunity for us to have a good discussion regarding trades. He says, I think that old sign, open for business, is there. We're continuing looking as we go into the season. Yes, we're in the position to improve our team if we get an opportunity to. Not groundbreaking. I think we've heard similar things from him before. I do think after a game like that, there is a tendency sometimes, I'm talking about the game against the Jets, there's a tendency sometimes to start to give a little bit more credit to things that before you thought were a problem. Sure. And specifically, I want to zero in on the pass rush. After watching what the Cowboys did to the Jets, and by the way, that's an offense where we were all concerned about what that quarterback could do to you with his legs. He didn't really have that sort of day. Looking at the pass rush, was the pass rush versus the Jets an aberration, or do you think it's closer to what this unit can possibly be with more development?
Well, it's annoying because we've seen these guys be great in different times of their lives or whatnot. So when we're going against the Giants or some of these teams or the Bears, and you have an opportunity to beat up on Braxton Jones and James Hudson, you would assume that you'll go out there and beat up on those guys. The Cowboys did not. I just find it incredibly strange that you go up against this Jets offensive line, which ain't a bad offensive line. I think this is like the second best crew that you've gone against with 2 first-round picks at left and right tackle. All of a sudden, all of our moves just work now. I'm just unclear, and I would love it if one of the coaches tapped me on the shoulder. I may be walking past
Good
something like that.
things take time. Do you just wake up and get abs all of a sudden? No, you got to work for it, and then it takes time.
What'd you say, abs?
Abs.
Oh, I thought you said abs at first, but abs.
Abs.
Gotcha. Abs.
ABS.
Yes, gotcha.
Abdominals, yeah.
Work. It's work.
I'm just saying, sometimes it takes time.
I feel you. That works with like Don Vanessa-Rocco or something, like if he's a rookie. But Dante Fowler is a veteran character. I'm like, hey, man, you've been doing this for a long time. Why are you having such a hard time with Marcus Mbow, the guy that just got drafted this year from Purdue, the 6th-round pick that's 300 pounds? What's going on here? But the 1st-round pick, Olu, that we thought really highly of, the top 10 guy, you beat the hell out out him for 10 pressures, for 10 and what, like a sack or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody got involved. Like it wasn't just Dante that was better this week. Sam was better this week. James Houston, as good as he's been this whole time, he was a little bit better. So it just seems like everybody as a whole got a tick better. I think that maybe coaching wise, maybe there was a message. I don't know. Maybe they're looking at the run a little less just to get better in the pass. I don't know exactly what happened, but the pass rush unit was definitely better, and this is a fantastic opportunity this week versus the Panthers to do it again.
Played a quarterback that really isn't quick thinking with the ball in his hand.
That's real too.
And that helped. And you schemed some things up. You found an offensive line that I believe was, when it came to gap exchanges and twist stunts and things like that, they were man blocking. And Dallas went into this game understanding that, listen, if they're going to block us man across the front on these stunts, then we're going to twist the front and we're going to get some guys home. And they were able to do that. They gave the Jets some different looks. They gave the Jets looks that we haven't seen in the previous 4 games, and the way they rush in the passer. It just, in the past, we've seen just 4 guys rushing just straight up the field and trying to kind of find a way to win that way. I think that Fowler did a much better job of winning with the first step. They figured out that they could go inside on these guys. This one was a game plan of I think a little bit of what their quarterback does and what their offensive line does, and then you tailoring a package to be able to attack the way that they were going to deal with you. And so that's to the coaches right there. So just rushing 4 guys up the field and hoping one of those guys gets home, it's always not going to work. We saw that the first 4 weeks. They figured out some things this week and did some combinations, whether it was putting both defensive tackles on one side and penetrating that thing and then bringing the looper the other way. The Jets had problems. We talked about it when we broke the Jets down last week, is that they were in a situation where their backs and line don't always coordinate well together. Dallas knew that going in. So this is a little bit about that, to me, it just all of a sudden didn't flip a switch. There was a little bit of okay, we need to do this better. Let's take advantage of what we're seeing from them and do a better job of that.
This is a tough week for me in a sense, because it's one of those where it's up to you whether you choose to be positive or negative, because you can defend either way. Like, I feel like you can say a whole lot of negative things and talk about, who the opponent was, and it's like, okay, is it gonna keep working that way? Are they gonna continuously now I was going to repeat the same word twice, but are they going to be able to continuously generate pressure against other teams that are up next? Or you can talk about them finally generating those pressures and taking it for what it is and being able to say, hey, now when they look at the film, they're able to really analyze, hey, this is what worked and this is what wasn't working, and then hopefully continue to do more of that. And I said it yesterday, I do believe it's one of those things that once you have a good game, you talk about, let's say, Fowler, for example, or even Sam Williams, it creates momentum. It creates that energy and that sense of like, man, I can do this. I want more of this. Let me do this again. Let me get out there again and repeat. So there's a lot of good and still bad, because now you have to prove it that this is a real change and not because you were playing the Jets. But it's a positive way to start the week and move forward. It's always great to see this is what worked and this is what hasn't been working.
How much, and we hadn't talked about this, we're going to get more into the defense a little later in the show, but how much do you think the play of the back end may have affected that? Because there were a couple changes this week. On the cornerback front, they started Diggs, they started Bland, they put Elam in a role where he was kind of rotating in at times. Reddy Stewart was your nickel. You had Wanye back playing safety with Hooker out injured. Was the back end better, and maybe that influenced the ability of the front end to maybe get home a little more, or was it simply they just found ways to be able to get pressure despite what was happening on the back end?
I think their quarterback's poor reading the field.
Yeah.
I think he missed some throws. It was very reminiscent of where, if you watch what happened to the Cowboys against the Bears, there were a couple of times where they had guys open and they just weren't able to get him the ball. And I think that had to do with the quarterback's inability to make a decision quick. I think you took advantage of a guy that really he's kind of skittish in the way that he wants to. It's one read and then run and get out of there. Dallas just did not let him run with the football, which he's very comfortable doing. So, yeah, did you play better with some different guys? Yeah, you could say in some ways you did, but I think overall you caught a quarterback that you took advantage of that's not very quick when it comes to delivering the football.
Well, real quick, when you look at the first 5 weeks, where would you rate Fields as far as the quarterbacks that you've played against?
I think Jalen Hurts is terrible at it too. So they're in that same category.
Yeah.
I would say the best processor that we've seen. Russ ain't great at it, but Russ was good at processing what we threw at him. Like he broke that.
He
down.
knew that.
He knew that like the back of his hand. What did we say about that? Caleb Williams, you could say like scheme help him see it. And Jordan Love is pretty solid or whatever. But Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, in my personal opinion, are in that same category of they don't really see it down.
I think Caleb Williams sees it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's accurate. I think his sometimes is more, his situation is he knows where he wants to go with the ball. You caught him on a hot day. The things we were concerned about was him also running with the football. Sure. But you made him super comfortable throwing the ball. He had plenty of time in the pocket. I would love to have seen this game plan that you had this past week against the Bears. We're going to look back on that Bears game and we're going to go, damn it, why? Why did that happen? Yep. You dropped that game, and so, hopefully you'll find a way down the road to win some. Maybe you go to Denver and win a game, but you got to, you're going to have to win one of these games you probably didn't think you were going to win for making up for the games. I mean, you had the Bears dead to rights, compromised offensive line, quarterback kind of all over the place. Team was 0-2. There was a lot of things that were really wrong about that Bears game that you're going to look back and say, boy, that was a wasted opportunity.
To Derek's point, though, and we did kind of go all the way around it. Yeah. I'm encouraged by what I saw, but if Jerry called me and say, "Hey, Voch, did they do enough to not go and get a guy?" I'm like, "Nah, Mr. John, it wouldn't be this phone. It'll be the phone I got."
Oh, okay.
That's the phone Jerry typically calls. I was just making. It was like, I don't know.
I'd
be like, "No, Jerry, it's not this phone." I'd be like, "No, Jerry, not Mr. Jones, me and him friend." I'd be like, "No, Jerry, go and get you a pass rusher and a linebacker would be cool."
Yeah, I think to me, and I had this discussion with a guy, one of my gang of 7 guys on the way over here, and he was asking me, "You think Dallas is going to make a deal?" And I said, I think Dallas as a team has to prove to the general manager that they're legitimate. And I say that in a way of go and find a way to win against Carolina, beat the Commanders at home at 325 the week after, and maybe go to Denver and find a way to steal that game or get that game. Denver's kind of playing, nice win against Philadelphia, but they've been in a lot of close games this year, kind of like you have. You might be pretty even there when it's all said and done. But go find a way to win these next 3 games, and then now you set yourself up before the Arizona game where you're like going, okay, let's make a run at this thing. Let's legitimately go get somebody. But you go play with your food and lose to Carolina, mess around and lose to the Commanders, and then get embarrassed at Denver. There's no reason for Jerry Jones to make a trade. By the way, moving like the second-round picks, if you think about doing that, I mean, you want to probably go move, if you had to, move one of these ones to go get something of substance to make it happen. But think about moving your second-round pick now. Think about having a draft without a 2, a 3, and a 4. And if, in fact, that you have to kick in to go get one of these players that we can't talk about, that everybody talks about but us, and it's okay, it's cool. But you're going to get one of these legitimate defensive ends, they're going to try and hold you up for a 1 and a 2. Sure. Think about that. Think about now using your 1 potentially, and then using your 2 for that same trade. Now you're looking at, you've got a first-round pick. You have no first, no extra first, no second, no third, no fourth. That makes things a little bit more difficult when you start to talk about how you want to navigate things going forward.
Yeah, and from that perspective, that's why I'm not necessarily willing to go and get that guy at defensive end. I'd rather play this season in a way where if I'm going to go out and get a guy like a real stud that I'm going to spend real capital on, I'd rather it be at the linebacker position.
Roquan Smith. If the Chicago Bears, if we had a revisit of the Roquan Smith leaving Chicago Bears draft, I don't know. They might think that Roquan Smith was too short. They might think that.
But I'm just saying, like, overall, like that kind of
trade.
That kind of player, that trade scenario would be what I'd be looking at, because for me, I look at these defensive ends and I feel like because of the pressure you can generate from the interior. And we saw a lot of that this week. I think if you go back and watch that game, a lot of that pressure was generated because Oso was getting after his guy.
Yeah.
And he was creating these situations where the quarterback was having to move off the spot, and now defensive end is in position to make a play. And I really believe that in today's NFL, that's more important, is if you can get interior defensive line pressure, then those outside guys should be able to kind of mop up things. And I believe if you can just the linebacker position for me right now is still the position where, even though the numbers were okay this week, if you watch the game, a lot of those tackles were they already made the play, and now you get a tackle. Like, it wasn't that they were making plays. I think you need some playmakers there, and I think that's the position more than any other position on the team. If you shore that up, and especially if you shore it up with a really, really great player, now you're really working with something, and I think you really can take advantage of this offense being as great as I think it can be.
Question for everybody here. Do you think that the Cowboys need to get like first round pick trade level better, or can it be like, oh, we have a fifth for Gilmore like they did a couple years ago, and a guy like that who's simply better than what we have right now, but maybe not be like a bank breaking kind of guy, right?
That's a great question.
Sure.
You worded it so well.
I did.
We're going to go to
Look
break.
at the time.
And then you're going to say it all over again. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com.
That's
radio.
crazy.
Come on, Voch.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here. As the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, you know I take cookware seriously, especially when it comes to America's team. So when the Cowboys are away, I'm putting my Yeti cast iron skillets to work to make my game day favorites for friends and family. I'm talking chicken fried steak, skillet queso, and peach cobbler. And just like the Cowboys are forever, so are these heirloom cast iron skillets. Check out the full line of skillets on Yeti.com or at a Yeti store near you.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, and I'm a little distracted because Voch is putting me to work, so I'm trying to figure out some stuff for Voch. So while I'm actually
Don't make
doing
me
stuff
send
for
you
you,
a bottle emoji, Voch.
Don't bother me.
while I'm taking care of stuff for you, Voch, why don't you give the people your question? Because it was a really good question.
You know he's just
It went
drawing you
for
off
Lance.
sides right now.
I know, right?
Is this the blockchain segment?
This segment presented to you by blockchain.com.
Boy, what's going on up here, man? What's my question, man? Hey, listen,
What is
everybody.
your question?
Right.
Everybody tap in. Everybody tap in. Table. I'm gonna ask everybody, and I'm reading the chat also. Me and Ambar are reading the chat, so if y'all got any response in the chat, we'll be reading those. How much better do you feel this defense needs to be? Like, does it need to be go and get a guy that's first-round pick valuable, or can it be like, oh, I'll send them one of my comp fives like we did with Gilmore a couple years ago, to where it's not like a superstar guy, but it's simply just a guy that's better than what you have right now? And of course, we would love to get a superstar and give him a second or something. If the deal is right, we'll take a superstar. But will simply sending a 5 for a veteran player, maybe one of these bad teams, I can't say.
You might be one of them.
There's a team in South Beach or something. They got some defenders. That's a bad team over there. Got a pass rusher allegedly probably over there. Just
Often
a guy
injured.
like that.
Can I? I'm gonna. Who's our guy? Who's the guy? I should say our guy. Who's the guy in Philly? The linebacker. I can't remember his name.
Zach Bond.
Zach Bond.
Yeah.
To me, that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a player that they see things in this player that maybe he hasn't even realized. When they got Zach Bond, he was not the player that he became in Philadelphia, right?
Javonte Williams like that.
Exactly. Things that you see in him. By the way, I trust this scouting department to be able to find those kinds of guys. So I can probably get them for at the most, 3rd or 4th round pick, especially at linebacker, because linebacker's not a position where you have to spend the first round.
Guys.
What?
Listen to you guys. Man, you guys get on their ass all the time about lowballing people and not picking and using like
precedent exists though, Bryan Broaddus,
and going bottom fishing.
Brandon
and all
Cooks
that.
cheap.
I have never had a problem with that for the record. You be talking about other people. I've never had a problem with that.
Bottom fishing.
I've never had a problem with that.
We get on these guys all the
Not me.
time because they don't think big and they don't go after big name guys and they don't do.
I think GP was humongous and they wouldn't do that twice.
I want my 4 first-round picks to be intact over the next 2 years.
I work on the draft show.
I'm just saying, I want 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years.
Am I right, though? We get on them about bottom.
Not me. I'm comfortable with that, again, because I think they do pretty good job of getting guys that can actually come in here and do good things for them. Now, if you told me there was an opportunity to go get a linebacker that is, and I know this is going to sound like hyperbole, but if you told me you could go get a Ray Lewis type and you had to give up a first-round pick, okay, I'm going to give that some thought.
Sure.
But the likelihood is that guy's not going to be available to you to be able to trade for. So what I'm more concerned about is, can you get me somebody right now who's better than everybody else I got? Because I think Overshown will come back, and I think Overshown will be good. I think Maris has a little something you can work with. I think there are other players you can use in ways. I need one more guy that I think is a stud, who can come in here and can take the bulk of the snaps. And I think the rest of these guys can play complementary roles. So if I can get that guy with a 3rd-round pick, maybe as high as a 2nd, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, you don't have a 3rd.
I really don't.
Have a 4th.
I really don't want to give up my first-round pick. I don't want to give up either one of those first-round picks. Unless, again, you tell me I'm getting Ray Lewis type, and I don't know that that's going to be available to me.
I think the Joneses want to draft. They didn't tell me this. Of course not. I think they want to draft, and if I'm them, I think they want to turn one of those first-round picks into more picks. If anything, I think the George Pickens trade was bigger than anything I can ever expect them to do. They love threes. I never expect them to go out and get a young guy, like a difference maker like that. I don't see them doing it again in the middle of the season. I think they want to keep them ones.
They
Bryan.
did give it one to go get Amari Cooper.
They did.
After Ambar got mad at him for receiver by committee.
Sure.
Yeah.
She said,
That's what we all were mad.
No bueno. No bueno. Receiver by committee. And Jerry said, hey, let's go with one out there.
Yeah.
I think they should take one of them 5s and find one of the older veterans, not a disgruntled young guy, because that'll be more expensive. Find one of them.
Brian wants us to go use those ones. Tell us what you want to do, Brian. Are you saying
Damn right I do.
Give me a 1.
Damn right I do.
Okay, all right.
Damn right I do. Because you know what? When if this all of a sudden, if this trade helps you get into playoffs, I don't want to be sitting there and playing with a guy in the 5th round. I want to be playing with somebody the other team has to be worried about. Whether that's a linebacker, an edge. Give me somebody that when we get in the playoffs, it ain't all going to fall on number 4's back.
Sure.
And then we have to rip his ass for not doing a good enough job.
So what I'm saying, Brian, in context, because we can't talk about current players, right?
Right.
But when they traded for Gilmore and Cooks, right? Gilmore and Cooks are types of players that can put you over the edge, right? Because they're so much better than what you had.
Did they, though? Did they?
Mike McCarthy, terrible. But
okay.
It's finally come out.
He don't work here no more.
No.
He don't work here no more.
Usually you're cautious with it, but today.
No, I don't disagree
But
with. I don't.
Gilmore, not only was Gilmore a starter, but when you ran into injuries and you had adversity with Bland, Gilmore was a guy that was your best corner at a point. I think you can send a 5 to one of these or a 4 to one of these teams and get a veteran that can play and be much better than.
He may not be great a year from now or 2 years from now, but he's
right
what
now.
you need right now.
Is this
I'm with you.
defense really a 5th round traded for player?
There's people that
fixable?
want to sign Gilmore right now as an old man.
I answer the question.
Well, here's the deal.
Is this defense good enough to add a 5th round trade piece and be good?
I don't think we know that yet, and here's why. Because right now I look at the back end, and I don't know that the back end has worked themselves back to what they once were, and they could be that. Like, they've had injuries. They're all of them are coming off injuries, right? So to get them back together and get them to a point where they're working together in a new system, we don't know yet whether it's good enough. We have no idea.
Oh, no, that's why I think Jerry's going to wait the next 3 weeks.
Right.
I don't
That's
think,
exactly right. It's
you know,
yeah.
But
I think these guys will help you. I can't say it.
Well,
I think these guys will help
I
you.
asked the chat.
I think these guys will help you.
I asked
I
the
can't say
chat, and
They could probably help
and
you.
don't show
Don't
the
put that on
camera.
camera.
No, I'm showing Amber. I'm like this.
But would you give up a first round pick for any?
Hell no. But
that's my point.
Whoa.
I think you can get one of these dudes for a 5. This old man who's
Yes.
been hurt. Yeah.
Yes.
Old man that's been hurt.
And he's better than your 5th pass rusher right now, or your 4th, honestly.
So, but you guys are sounding like you feel like you're one player away.
No.
And a 5th round guy being at that.
Brian, honestly, if I'm using them ones, I want this dude to be a part of my future.
You're damn right you do.
A part of my
That's why. And you're going to get somebody that teams fear right now
And you
and in
also
the future.
need a team to want to give away that guy.
Yeah, there's
Jerry
some
Jones came on the radio and said, allegedly called Carolina, but they didn't want to give up their guy. They just didn't want to give up Quentin Witt. You need the other team to want to give
That's
their
what I'm
top-tier
saying,
guy.
though. I'm calling, though. I'm absolutely
So
calling.
let me ask you this, Brian. If it takes the same kind of deal,
I have a guy in mind.
Hold on. If it took the same deal, if it takes the same
I'm not
kind of
gonna
deal
say
as
it.
what was involved with Micah, to where you got to give up two first round picks for a stud, are you willing to do that?
No, I'm giving up one. I'm giving up one of the first round picks. You guys want to trade this
But would
guy?
you trade 2 firsts for Micah? Oh, Brian, you're bottom feeding, Brian. We keep talking about the player. That's what I'm saying, Brian.
I know the player now, and I know what the player in this locker room is. Am I trading for that kind of player? I would trade for that kind of player as far as ability, yes. But what I know about the player off the field, no, I wouldn't do the 2 ones.
There's a lot of fans that's talking about a pass rusher on the West Coast that may be
That's exactly who I'm thinking about
I think that team will give that dude up, though, Brian.
Right. That's my point. You're not getting that guy unless you give up 2 first round picks. I'm not willing to give up first round picks.
No, I would take that chance over giving up. Okay, if you look at that player's contract, it turns into 28 million, 26 million, 24 million as you go along.
That's cheaper than 47.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he's younger than what?
That's even better for them.
another
Now
player.
they're going,
Another player in the Midwest is whose team is going south really fast.
They'll trade him. They don't care nothing about they play. They'll trade him tomorrow.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I do feel like
you guys think you can fix this defense with a 5th round?
No. Honestly, and I've said this for the last several weeks. I said,
Does it sound like
I don't need this.
Both these guys.
I don't need this defense
Let
to
him
be
talk,
great.
because this is
I need this
I'm not letting him
defense to
talk
be
anymore.
middle of the road. That's all I need.
3 more points.
Because I got a great offense and I got a great special team.
Yeah.
Give me a middle of the road defense and I can make it work.
3 more
So
points.
so yes, I'm not willing to mortgage the future over trying to get this defense to great. I don't think the one player I've seen them be average.
If the one player you go get helps you going forward, not only this season, but the seasons after in 26, 27, all the way potentially through 29.
To be great?
To be great.
Okay, then you're talking about a Ray Lewis type player, and I've already said, if you give me a Ray Lewis type player, then conversation is on. We can have the conversation.
So that's that. But I'm trying to get the Ray Lewis player.
Right.
I'm not trying to go get 5th round guy and then come in here and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we've got ramp up period, and now we're into November, and it's not working.
No, I think we're saying similar things. I think the difference is I'm going into it saying,
how can I
get my defense to be pretty good? I don't need them to be great. How can I get them to be pretty good
in the playoffs?
But if I can, If with this offense, yes, because look at the history.
Yeah.
Look at the history of the NFL, Brian, over the last several years. The teams that are winning the Super Bowl, they don't have great defenses. They got okay defenses. They got great offenses.
Yeah.
We have a great offense. Now they need to get their defense.
I'm just asking you. The question is: one player is going to take you from the bottom of the pack to the middle.
All you need is 3 more stops.
The right player.
All you need is 3 more stops.
Yeah, the right player.
My thing is, and this is why I align with Bryan in this conversation.
Because you're smart.
Well, let's fuss about it.
Because when you look at the players that you currently have on defense, there are a lot of players, and I've been saying this, like I see their potential. I know at what level they can play, which is not like, oh my God, a mega superstar, but it's enough to get you to where you need or do the job. They're not playing that way yet. We saw it this past week and a start of it, but we can't bank on that just yet. So what tells me that if you're not able to get everybody else on defense currently to get where they need to be, playing at that level that they need to be, and I'm not saying at the mega superstar level, but that so a defense that helps you out in a way, who's going to come in here for a 5th round pick and make this defense
if that one player
completely
can
different than
So
what you currently
so let me ask you this question then.
Completely different.
No, let me ask you this question. So when you guys when Micah Parsons was here, what did you think of this defense? What was his defense? Average? Was it above average? Was it below average?
Right in the middle.
It was right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
Could pass rush, can give up some plays.
The difference,
if the corners were all healthy, if in fact that if Diggs, Bland were healthy, and you had to figure out what the nickel was going to be. Didn't think they were very good at the linebacker spot. You put Overshown in there.
Yeah.
You put Overshown in with Parsons and healthy corners. This defense is probably in the top 15.
Okay.
Probably in the top 15.
That being said,
but right now you're 29th.
Right. That,
Sure.
but that being said,
and one player is not going to make you into unless that one player could be West Coast guy, Midwest guy, somebody like that.
I got a question, Brian. Question for you, and then we can go to break. If you get 2 more stops, do you beat?
You said 3 earlier. Now you said 2.
Cool. Even better. If you get 2 stops, do you beat Green Bay and Philly?
Oh, sure.
If you got 1 stop,
If you got 1 stop, do you beat Green Bay and Philly?
Sure.
Get me a guy that can give me a stop or 2.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you a guy that can get you that stop. But you guys
I don't need a shutdown defense. Ambar said something that just clicked in my mind. I don't want to completely.
Your defense is at such a low level right now. It's going to be hard for somebody to elevate.
The difference right now is Micah Parsons. Like last year, this was the same defense absent Micah Parsons, right? So you put another another playmaking player on this defense, you can get that 1 stop. That's my point. I don't think that player has to necessarily be somebody you go up a first round pick for. You just need a playmaking type player. By the way, I actually think you need a player who's just more consistently good.
I take Jordan Lewis
That's why I want. I would love to have Jordan Lewis.
Great.
I don't know if Jordan Lewis will take you where you want to go, though. Right now, where I look at this,
Might be better in the secondary,
linebacker position is a position that I think is holding you back more than
agree.
any other position. And if you upgrade that position, you may find that a healthy secondary of these players might be a lot better by week 10, week 11, week 12. You get Overshown back, you might be a lot better by week 11, week 12. Like, you need a
That's why I want to.
that's
why I want to go get a legitimate guy, because when all that happens, I want to be ready for the playoffs.
Sure.
I want to be ready for the playoffs. But then again, I had Micah Parsons. I wasn't any good in the playoffs, so I might be totally.
Oh, I got one more
wrong.
fantastic point.
All right, we're going to take our final break. We're going to come back.
If I was going to ask that question.
You're going to make your final great point. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Man, this is a spirited show. We got some good debate going on.
Voch got
Bryan,
his whole fan club in the chat because I asked, okay, who are you guys voting for in this argument, Bryan or Voch? And most people said Voch.
See?
You can't
But you
even-
got a few, Bryan.
See?
You can't even
The 65 and older crowd went with me on this.
You can't even.
and they're
just-
not on YouTube right
Just
now.
fathom the idea that I was right. You know what I mean? These people don't know me.
Hey, you said you had one more point. Give me one more point.
In context of this trade talk that we're having, fantastic talks, by the way, I wanted to think about it from what the Joneses are thinking. And if they put all this money into Dak, right, are they coming from the idea of, hey, we're paying so much money here, should we hold on to the picks so we can get help cheaper as opposed to sending picks to go and get somebody expensive? Like does Dak's contract play a role in this conversation?
Strike when the iron's hot, man. Your quarterback's playing at a high level. Again, we'd all like to have the Chicago game back, but your quarterback's playing at a level. You can't just waste that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't wait. You got these receivers, and, you know, hats off. It was during the break I was talking about, we don't give this receiver coach enough credit for how getting those guys ready to play, too. You know, the last couple of weeks, they have done a great job, you know, with their number one guy down. But anyway, yeah, you got to go while you can. You got to go, and the team will prove to you whether they need to make this move or not.
You know, Bryan,
the next 3 weeks will tell you that.
That's actually the point I think is the best point of the day.
Of course it is. Thought you should.
When you've got a quarterback that's
Fair enough,
playing
Bryan.
at an elite level, the last thing you want to do is look back on that season and say, "What if?"
What if?
Like
Yeah.
when you got that guy and he's playing at that level, because that ain't gonna happen every year.
Nope.
When you got a guy and he's playing at that level, and your offense is clicking like it is, you really do have to strike while the iron's hot. Sure. And that's the one where it does make me say, okay, well, if I gotta spend one of these ones, maybe I'm okay with it, but it better be worth it. Like, I better get a playmaking guy on my defense that actually is going to create those plays that wins games for me, when my quarterback may have a day where he goes down and scores, but he left a minute and a half. Can the defense now make a stop? Like, that's the part where right now they're not there. No. You feel like if you got time on the clock, it's probably not going to happen. But if you can give me that guy, then maybe I am willing to
go all in.
More.
I've been very loud and passionate, but just to be clear to everybody watching, I am phony. Like, if the Cowboys go and get like a pass, like a D lineman from the team that we just played last week, like a dude like that, I'm coming on here screaming saying that Jones did the right thing. I'm incredibly phony. I just got to know what guy that is.
Yeah. It's hard to say when you're not talking about the names, but like I said, you give me a Ray Lewis type player, I'll give up that first round pick to get him, and I won't even think twice about it. But you got to give me a player that actually is going to make a difference for this team.
Yeah.
Bryan, did you have a question for us?
Now we ain't got nothing to say all of a sudden.
No, so people are coming through for Bryan here, saying I'm with Bryan.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
People don't know me.
65 plus.
65 plus.
You got some people in the chat now.
65 plus is going to get it done for me today. It's going to carry the state of Indiana as well. Question for you guys real quick on this one. Is Brock Hoffman better than Cooper Beebe?
Nah, why would you say that?
Just the way he's playing.
Oh, no. But he's doing a fantastic job as a backup offensive line. To be fair, Bryan, let me just elaborate a little bit because I do see this on social media. I think sometimes when people look at offensive linemen, if the house isn't burning down, they think it's all the same.
Yeah.
That ain't the case. I think Hoffman and TJ Bass played well. He played a little better.
To me, Bass was the best player you had on the offensive line last week.
Bass and Terrence last week.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
I think sometimes when we're watching and as long as everything goes well,
is Bass better than Tyler Smith?
See,
no, I'm just no.
I think the question is
I've had people ask me about the center. I've had
now,
people that say, is the center right now better than the center he's replaced?
See, what it is they'll see Hoffman making a block.
Yeah.
And let's just say he just doesn't get beat.
Yeah.
BB gets 2 yards of push on that. It'll be that much different.
I didn't even think about it until people started saying, and it was a lot of people were asking me, is he better? And I'm like going,
so how about this? By the numbers, right? By the metrics, right. Bryan. Didn't you say that Williams had a worse rushing day yesterday? Javonte Williams, Sunday?
Well, yeah.
He technically had a
the long run, that long run.
Not the long run, but just
take the long run away.
He technically had a worse rushing day.
Yeah, sure.
That's still Williams kind of getting hit and gaining a couple more yards.
Yeah.
If your starters were in there previous weeks, Williams doesn't get touched until like 3 yards.
Oh, Dallas is still really good at not getting their backs touched. They get them touched 1 and 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. They're one of the better teams in the league.
And 2 yards.
I just didn't know why people were asking me that question. And I thought, well, I'll present it to my guys.
Well, I think it's also what we talked about yesterday. I think right now Dak is making the offensive line look even better than they are. And people aren't seeing him getting hit a lot. And so they're like, man, the offensive line is balling. The reality is Dak is just playing out of his mind. He is covering all of their warts right now. You really get to see how well they play when you watch them in the run game. That's really, to me, a better indication of how well they're playing right now, because in the pass game, there are breakdowns. Dak just covers them right now.
Real quick. Would you trade then one of these backup offensive linemen for help?
No, this last week was exactly why I keep all that intact, because I'm like, I look at those guys and say, we might need them again. And what we've seen is they can still play. They can play football if they need to.
Bryan, now you got a decent backup.
I know what you're about
doing it.
You want to start trading?
Doing it.
Boy, Clayton Adams and Dak show can make anybody look good, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Boy, Keegan got in there, and boy, I ain't even noticed it. Whew.
No.
I think about it, Bryan.
No.
It depends on what I'm getting back. Depends.
Maybe I don't have to agree.
I'm not messing with fate on that one. Like right now, I feel good about my offensive line.
Rob Jones
about my offensive line depth.
Rob Jones coming back.
When?
Later.
All right. We appreciate you guys, Jones. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to dive into Cowboys versus
Carolina's offense.
Cowboys versus Carolina. That'll be fun. Yep. Till then, for Voch, Lombardi, Bryan, Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break Live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?